It's Amethyst.
It's Marvin.
And it's Samuel. And this is Black History Month. It's February. And so, in honor of Black History Month, we are going to talk about racism.
Because I feel like as a kid growing up, I had a lot of little microaggressions, and I never thought, oh, they're being racist. I just thought it was weird. And now I'm growing up and being like, I think that was racism. And I do feel like I do get kind of nervous when I'm not around Black people. Like but then when I'm not around Black people, I get kind of like, okay, I need to be better. I need to be on my P's and Q's. I need to be on my where. It's like, does it come from having all these little microaggressions build up that's making us code switch, making us just...
And what is code switching, or code switching to you?
Code switching, which I don't actually think I code switch that much, but it's like, I guess just talking more proper, using less slang,
to be able to fit in, like
to be able to fit in and assimilate with what everyone else has going on.
Things that we
I feel like code switching makes me kind of feel like it gives me anxiety. So sometimes I'm just like, I'm not code switching. I'm just gonna be me, and then they're gonna like, hi, you're so funny, girl. And then I'm mad. So I'm like, I'm gonna act proper now.
So I like that word, code switch. You said code, like code switching.
Code switching.
And what was it, microaggressions?
Well, I think she said that.
Yeah. With back off of what you guys said, off of both of those, I have to talk on that. Versus the little microaggressions where I would pick up those events. I moved from a predominantly Black area over to when I was in my preteens, moving over to a predominantly white area. So, we were that Black family in that nice subdivision. Why did I only play with those kids at their front lawn? Why was it always something changed up when a certain other person came in the room, or another figure when we're playing along, or we had to play certain games at this time, or I can only play at this time? You go over to Ryan's house. How come I don't only play in the front yard versus being invited in to only on special events you go in on certain areas, or you have to be at this certain area, or never invited to that. I was always on the baseball team, but why I couldn't hang out with those certain people or anything like that, because there was no other kids that looked like me. I was them. Everybody knows Marv. Oh, Marv's such a sweet boy. Oh, he's such a cute kid. But yeah, you're different. Yeah, like basically becoming the token of the group. And then I moved around to all Asian. Then I was growing up around more Asian people, because I came off very articulate from a kid that used to have an accent when he was younger. And I went through that. I went through hell.
So you didn't really have to code switch.
I eventually did have to code switch. I talk very proper now unless I'm speaking another language.
So you code switch backwards? Like, do you talk proper and then sometimes you be around?
I code switch depending on where I'm at.
More Black people, and you just be
if
like,
it's really hood,
more,
whatever like that, yeah, I switch them. But then at the same time, I would do that, but then I would come back into that neutral ground of Marvin.
Yeah.
Or just chill. I can go chill with the jocks. I can go chill with the hood dudes, and at the same time, I was with the chess club, the Asians, the geeks, the nerds.
But it's a different Marvin. You gave both.
It was always a different Marvin versus finding that neutrality to just stay in the middle. And I would see those sides, those different viewpoints, finding it through in different areas. And I was like, wow, I would see it hit from so many different sides. I would see the racism from their sides.
And I think that's why I had opportunities to be the token growing up. I had so many opportunities to be a token Black girl, but I never felt comfortable. So I always just rather hang out with the Black kids. Like if they were whatever they were doing, even if it wasn't as positive, then that's what I was doing, because I did not, like, I could only be token Black girl for so long until I wouldn't feel comfortable. Didn't sometimes feel comfortable with the Black people either, because they would be like, you acting white, Yeah. And I would be like, how am I acting white? I'm very Black. Yeah. Like, I'm no different to you. Like, but it was just not comfortable for me. And now I feel like I have to go back and be like, I want to be comfortable with everybody, regardless of racism, past traumas.
It's just falling through those dramas, and all you could do is take those traumas, all the old trauma, and reverting it back to doing, I wouldn't say just doing right, just handling everything the way it should be. Stuff do need to be brought up. I've went through stuff in my teen years to where Yeah, I was culturally diverse. I was a social chameleon. I had a time, my stepmom, she's a Caucasian woman. I call her my stepmom. She's my best friend, childhood best friend's mom. She went through me my whole life. Me and her connect like this. I've been in those situations where I know a pretty gorgeous girl you should meet, or a pretty girl, whatever like that. She see me bring a white girl or Spanish girl or a Latino or any other girl I'm interested in or I was with at the time to introduce to her. But then she would always, which at the same time I didn't know how to view it, she would always bring on a black woman. I'm like, I love my queens. But it would always be at that instance. Why don't you meet a good girl? And she would push that too.
She would always push black girls on you?
She would always push a black on me versus my birth mother. She was like, whoever you bring around, I'm going to love them the same.
Do you think maybe she felt like not a guilt, but she felt like she had some type of duty because her being a white woman that's helped raising you, and she doesn't want to be like, oh, I don't want to influence him to only like white women. I want him to like his own as well. Do you think like she felt like that was her duty? Or like, why do you think she did that? Like,
that's still more in the discovery phase. That became like a touchy subject in between us, because even to when it came down to politics versus me going over to, we remember elections, how everything was back in the election before whoever the guy we have right now is. When we had Obama come in, I got my president's black, everything like that. And that's when those adversities come on. And then she would go on like, why did you, like, honestly, Marvin, why did you vote for him? Was it because he was black?
I did.
Stuff like that's gonna get pop up versus looking at what he was gonna have for us, for more jobs, anything through there, incentives, anything too. I mean, no, it benefits me. Does it benefit me because I'm black? If I were to take that aside, it did benefit me in so many more ways.
Then you see a black person at that position of power, just letting black people even see that, on that level, it did benefit. Just to be like, oh, a black person can do that. Because I literally grew up not knowing that black people could, like, I never really saw a lot of like doctors, dentists, lawyers. I didn't grow up seeing none of that. All that was white people.
Yeah, it was only athletes and rappers. My stepmom was trying to get me to be, why don't you play ball? Why don't you do all this? She didn't see me in the arts. She didn't see me all that. She was doing that. She supported it, but she was still trying to push the agenda onto it.
I feel like seeing Obama in office is going to bring up so many other young kids that was in high school to be like, I want to be a political science lawyer. I want to be a lawyer. I want to be a senator. Just because they saw that Obama can do it, and then eventually, hopefully, we can get more change there.
It's the racism.
Like, because you need to see, like, if you grow up in an area predominantly white, like, they might not even realize that they're being racist, but it's so much racist undertones. And if you don't have a strong foundation, you can lose yourself and feel inadequate, and you can feel less than for real. Like, because I did, and I'm not less than, but I felt less than because of the environment. And I'm sure like white people back home be like, what? Amethyst, we never. And I don't think they were doing it on purpose.
I love your mom's story.
But, I ain't talking about your stepmama. No, I know. Like, people, they don't always feel like they're doing it on purpose. It's just in the atmosphere, especially in the dirty South. It's the dirty.
Yeah, and like, I don't know if some people saw Joaquin Phoenix. Like, I posted it on my social media, but he was talking about the bigger picture here. We're talking about our own, our feelings and what we're going through, but like, it is bigger than just us. Like, racism is bigger than us, and it is a big problem in the court system. I mean, schools and jobs. I think it can be harder for us to get jobs, you know what I'm saying? Especially like black males. I think it can be hard to get any regular job, not just because of...
Gotta be even better, twice as better.
Not just because of...
Growing up as a black man, we have to do everything twice as hard.
Yeah, and I think it's not like because we have a record or this or that. There's plenty of people that have no record. I have no criminal record, but like, I feel like, at least in this country, sometimes they try to paint the picture like, that's what you're supposed to be. That's what it is. Like, that's the baseline, especially for black males. You rapper, this, that, but like a criminal background, like leanings toward, negativity. But that's not even the case. That's not the case for any human being. Yes, your environment where you grow up, it matters. That it's going to affect some of your choices, but not all of us grew up like that. I grew up in a middle class home. Like, not all of us, are bad people, but I feel like that's what's painted in the media. It's about the stories that
the stories
people
they
perpetuate, stereotypes, which we need to start reversing that.
Yes.
And that's what that's part of what this podcast is like, you know, positive people doing positive things, and you know, that to just show that it's not all about just the typical things that are pushed in the media, like rapping or doing music or sports. There's other things that we can do, science, you know, math. I mean,
you can do anything, literally anything, and representation matters.
Yes.
And if Obama didn't do nothing else but that, he did that. Like Michelle too. Like just such an inspiration. It's like, oh, my kids are gonna grow up knowing. I'm gonna know to be telling them you can do anything. When I see kids now, little black kids, I'm like, did y'all know that you could be anything? All you have to do is work really hard at it.
Teaches black men to survive in black America. This is what you need to do to survive versus you can be anything.
Yeah. Oh.
Versus this is where we came from. Do what you got to do to be a man to survive, to get to this category, because it's what they put in us. You're greater than this, but we have to stay within our lines. Versus you can do anything.
That is how it is. Yeah.
So nowadays we have to change that. Versus this is where we came from. You have all this.
You can be
go where you want to go.
You just have to work. Just know it's gonna be hard work, and
hard.
that's it.
Yeah. I mean, and we don't want to hand out it's not about. I think things get brought up like affirmative action and. You know, minorities in certain cases maybe not being as good, but since you need to fill in a quota, diversity,
it's plenty gonna be just as good.
But a lot of us, it's like what we've experienced and what I've experienced personally is it's like it's not like that. Like for us, you can't make a mistake because you're gonna get penalized harder.
Yeah,
and you can't just slip by because my mommy or daddy owns a company. No, like that's nepotism, or what I like to call nephewtism. But like for us, my parents don't own a business, their last name is not on some brands. So we're not gonna get away with that. So and then what if I get in trouble with the law or something like that? I'm fucked. I'm fucked because
we gotta work hard and we take double the penalty.
Yeah, and they double the penalty. I may not have the money to really defend myself, public defender or whatever, and it's a tough setup. It's not excuses. It's just the realities of what a lot of us have to go through that the other side wouldn't understand because you never been the minority really, and you know, and so it is tougher, and it's not just in our minds. No, it is tougher for us, and that's why we got to be so much better just to get recognized and still be this small little dot in the sea of competition where, you know, it's almost like just having a handicap. Like you just got to be that much faster.
Starting off the race with one leg tied.
Yeah.
To the other, and you're just ready to go. So
starting off Black History Month on them hard.
Can we end positively though?
Oh yeah.
Positively. Where we headed? What we about to do this year?
We're in the now. What we got now. We're in the middle of our situation now, and then that you're coming to, man, just make it better. You got kids, you got anything to do that, they can do anything.
Wherever you at now, you can always make it better.
So remember the now. Whatever from before I just said, the yesterday, anything like that, don't even matter no more. It's right here. Because we live day by day. You live every day. You die once.
Yeah. No excuses. And, you know, moving forward, it's just like doing the best that you can, represent, not using no crutches, you know, just realizing that if you work hard enough, you can get it. Realizing that they are different. Like that when somebody says, oh, I don't see color. Well, that's BS because you can tell that this, unless you're colorblind, you can see the difference between this blue, that black, different color, skin colors.
Or the features.
You got to be able to acknowledge it before you can change it. If you say that, it's just it's a shortcut way of saying like, oh, you know, everything is equal. I'm going to do what I can individually. All I can do is what I can do to, you know, give off a different idea of what it is to be, you know, a black man in America and be positive and uplift people and motivate people.
Yeah. Our past as a people, our past as individuals is our past. It doesn't define us anymore. Yeah. It should just make us stronger in the now and do better in the future.
Amen.
All right, and just you guys have an amazing Black History Month 2020.
Yes. Black on
Let's
black,
make it
black,
happen,
black,
all right?
black on black, black, black.